Hey there, welcome back to my channel where today I'm going to be doing a subscriber request. I recently did a 2-look 1 palette video using the Aurora struck from ColourPop, and it was really pretty. I ended up with one bluish teal eye and one purple eye, and I just left it all day because the depth of tone was perfectly matched and it was a lot of fun. But one of my subscribers asked in the comments if I would do a sort of video where I did one daytime look, something that was more appropriate for day, the office, workplace, etc. And then add some stuff on top, whether it's shadow or glitter or anything else to just glam it up for a nighttime transition. And I thought that would be really fun. I've decided to do all of that within just the Aurora struck palette. If I were going to work and I needed to glam up, I didn't have time to go home, I would want to just bring one palette with me and be able to glam up the look using the palette I used that morning and have everything look nice and matched. If you're interested in seeing a day to nighttime transition, don't go anywhere. And if you've never been here before, hello, my name is Rachel. I am a homeschooling stay-at-home mom. I really enjoy playing with eyeshadow, but especially more colorful eyeshadow. And I upload multiple videos every week that are all eyeshadow related. So if you like what you see and you want to see more, remember to like and subscribe before you leave and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss new videos. So let's zoom in and get going with this video. I'm priming my eyes using the Glam Light Icing Primer. You're gonna have to excuse my hair. I recently trimmed it and I think I went a little bit too short in the layers, which ordinarily wouldn't bother me, except because I'm currently pregnant at the time of filming. I might have had the baby by the time you guys see this video, but I'm currently pregnant still. I'm 38 weeks pregnant tomorrow. And I am experiencing some hair loss like during the pregnancy, which I've never experienced before. In the past, I've had a bit of postpartum hair loss, but I've never had hair loss that happened while I was pregnant. And so this is kind of a new thing for me, but what it's doing is it's resulting in all these really short wispy areas, like areas that are generally a little shorter on me anyway, because I have kind of flyaway hairs around my face. And throughout my life, I have learned to work with them. But because of this pregnancy, it's making those sections even shorter and more like randomly sticking out like this. Like, what is this? I mean, what is that? Nobody wants that. And so since I trimmed my hair and I made my layers a tiny bit too short around the face, it's now kind of playing into those extra short sections and making me look a little bit ragged. But it'll grow. It's okay. It's no big deal. It's just I'm trying to work with it now that it's different than I'm used to. So here is my plan for today's video. I'm going to do the daytime look, and then I'll go off camera, finish it up on the other side so that they match. Then I'll come back and I'm going to show you what I would do to spruce it up, glam it up, add a little bit more depth and drama to transition into a nighttime look. And then I'll go off camera, finish up the other side, and come back to show you the finished nighttime look. That's my plan. I'm going to start off with a pretty decent sized blending brush. It's not huge, but it's not small. And I'm going into the shade No Sleep. This is a light pink matte. I'm going to place this in my entire crease area. This will give me a beautiful wash of color. I may have used this the last time I filmed with the Aurora struck palette. I don't remember. But it's just a super nice light pinky sort of shade. This reminds me of one of the 2 mattes that I actually liked within the ColourPop All Amethyst palette. I decluttered that palette. It was a 9-pan, and there were 5 mattes, but only 2 of them worked. Like the other 3 were just not good. I consistently was disappointed in that palette, so I finally just got rid of it, and the Aurora struck palette kind of replaces that for me. And this is very much like one of the 2 mattes that I liked a lot. So I'm kind of just blowing this color out because I really like the way it looks when you put it in the crease and blow it out into the V shape. I always just use concentric circles, smaller and smaller out here, away from my brow, always in this more upward angle. And that gives me a really pretty little wash of color. I'm also taking a much smaller blending brush and bringing that shade on the entire lower lash line. All right, so now you can see this lovely, soft, pinky lavender kind of wash of color. It's really romantic and pretty. I like it. Now I'm going to take a smaller blending brush. It's a denser blending crease brush from e.l.f. I'm going to grab the shade Icelandic. This is more of a mid-toned gray matte, and I'm going to put this on the outer lid space. This is not super deep. It's adding in a little bit of depth. So again, this is my everyday look. If you work at a bank or an office or somewhere where You're not supposed to have crazy wild eyeshadow. I mean, I guess it depends on the workplace rules, but just something more toned down. This will still give you the option to have color, but they're more muted, less scary, less vibrant, wild sorts of colors. And with that same brush, no additional product, I'm dragging it onto the outer corner of my lower lash line. Again, all of this is just soft, blown out. None of these are very pigmented, so you're not going to get really stark lines. It's just a gentle, really broad wash of color. I like to apply ColourPop shimmers with my finger. I think generally it gives me a better, slightly higher metallic shine. So I'm taking my finger and dipping into the shade Head North, which is the lightest kind of white shimmer in the palette. And I'm going to place that in my, well, really on the whole lid space, starting at the inner corner to make that the brightest, and then just working it out a little bit here. Now, because I have the transition to night mode in mind, I want to make sure that when I add in those additional shadows, I still get the contrast and the depth that I want, which is why I've chosen the lightest shimmer and starting it in the inner corner. And then I'll just wipe off my finger a little bit and softly blend it out here to meet the mattes. Because when I bring in the next layer to glam up this look a bit, I still want that inner corner to be much lighter than the outer, so I want that contrast. I'll go back into the brush that I used for the gray, and I'll dip slightly into that gray again and just mute the reflection a little bit with that matte. So here's the shadows for the daytime look. It's really simple, really quick. I'm not going to do anything crazy. I'm going to take a black eyeliner and just do a little wing in the outer corner, but I'm not going to line the top lashes. I'm just adding in that tiny wing. I feel like lately my wings have just not been very good. Sometimes they're okay, and then sometimes they're not. And I'm like, why? What am I doing differently? So there's just a little wing in the outer corner. Now I'm going to add something very soft and subtle on my lips. I'm just going to take a ColourPop lip oil. I love ColourPop lip oils. They bring in a tiny hint of color, just a little tint, but they're super hydrating and soft and comfortable. I ordered a few more with my last ColourPop order. I'm going to go off camera and do the other side, and I'll be right back to sort of finish off this daytime look. So here's how the daytime look is coming so far. I'm going to take a little bit of mascara. Again, everything I'm using is linked down below in the description box. And I'm just putting mascara in the outer half of the upper lashes. I'm not going to put mascara anywhere else because I want to keep this pretty well downplayed. But I'm kind of loving the way this is looking. It's really soft, very light, very, I don't know, kind of vintagey. I think you could get a very similar look using the Stone Cold Fox palette from ColourPop, or honestly, a lot of their more mauve or neutral or rosy toned 9-pans. But I think this is looking really pretty. So here's the daytime look. I am going to get a picture of it for my thumbnail, and then I'll come back and show you how we can sort of spruce it up a little bit, add in a bit of depth and drama to transition to nighttime. Okay, so that is our daytime look. Now I'm gonna, again, use the same palette to add in a little bit of extra oomph, smoke it out a bit more, a little more glam. So let's get going. I'm gonna take the denser blending brush that I used before for that Icelandic shade. Yes. Now I'm going to deepen this look significantly. I wanna grab Ionosphere. Ionosphere is like the next level of depth. So I've got that on this brush. I'm gonna be going over my wing. I don't really care. I can add in another wing later on, but I'm going into this outer corner and I'm really smoking it out here, like the outer V area, but I'm going to bring it into the crease a little bit more. I'm also bringing this color slightly higher. Instead of keeping it in my crease, I'm just angling my brush down and pointing it upwards a little bit to hit the underside of my brow bone, because that's going to bring in more depth in that area as well. I'm also flaring it out a little bit, but not too much. You can always add more. Taking the blending brush that I used before, I can go back into that light pink matte and just buff out these edges. This whole look is going to be like a pinky purple silver smoky sort of thing, and I am here for it. I'm also grabbing that same shade on a smudger brush. I'm going to lay this down in my outer corner as well. Bring this in a little bit further because we're going for glam and drama, right? So I'm going to place it very firmly in my outer third of the lower lash line, and then once most of the product is off the brush, I'll just sort of buff it into that light pink that I laid down. All right, so now can you see the difference between the two? This one is so much more deep and dramatic, definitely more smoked out. This is more daytime for sure. I'm going to take my finger. Now I want to bring in a purple shimmer called Comet Seekin. And I'm going to leave the inner corner, of course, because I wanted that contrast. But I'm going to take this purple shimmer and put it on the center of my lid space. Oh. Ooh, that's pretty. The center of my lid space. But look at how pretty that, I really like that. So now contrast the two eyes. What do you think? Are we getting a little bit more glam? A little bit? ColourPop has recently launched a new formula called Pearlescent Glitter. So this Pearlescent Glitter formula is supposed to be eye safe, and it's supposed to be much more finely milled. I don't love it, but I'm not a fan of glitter. I think it's a little bit gritty and a little bit grainy. However, it's orders of magnitude better than their last formula. And even though I'm not really a fan of glitter, this formula does kind of bridge the gap pretty well because it's kind of glittery, but not full on. You've got like giant chunks of glitter all over your eyes. So it does bring in a new level. So I'm taking the one in this palette. It is called So Lit. I think there's just this one in the Aurora Struck palette. There are some more in some of their other palettes, like their Winx and their Muppets collections both have more. Anyway, this is So Lit, and I'm going to put this over top of the white shimmer that we laid down before. This is it's just adding in a little bit of extra sparkle on top of that white. We still have the contrast, and now we also have a hint of sparkle, a hint of blue, and that's looking pretty. Now that's it for the shadows. I'm going to go back into my eyeliner, and I'm going to line the entire upper lash line, and I'll do an inner corner flick as well. I also had to redo my outer wing, naturally, because I covered it in shadow. I'm taking two different eyeliners. I'm going to take a light pink from ColourPop. I'm taking this light pink and putting it on my inner half of the waterline. Super pretty, very pigmented. I personally really like a bright inner corner, even if the rest of the look is dramatic, which honestly most of my looks are. This is a black eyeliner. Again, everything's linked in the description box, and I'm putting this on my outer half. Even if my look is really dark, I almost always want to have a brighter inner corner. So I'm lining the inner half, or the outer half rather, of my waterline with black. And then where the two colors meet, you could just have them meet and stop, but I usually overlap slightly, just lighter and lighter strokes so that it merges in a little more softly. I'll tightline the outer half of my upper waterline, which I don't usually do because it tends to make my eyes water, and that kind of messes up the shadows in the outer corner. But now I'm going to take another layer of mascara, and this one I'm going to put on the entire set of lashes, upper, lower, and I'm obviously adding in a second layer because I already put some on the outer half of the upper lashes. I don't wear false lashes, but for a more glam look, I would put on probably 2 layers of mascara and make sure that I emphasize the outer corner here because they'll flare out and look a little bit more like false lashes. It just adds to the drama. So those are the two eye looks next to each other. We've got daytime. I'll do a Vanna White for you. And then we have nighttime. I'm going to go off camera and catch up the other side for my nighttime look. Then we're going to add in a bit more pigment on the lips and be ready to go out, wherever we're going after work. This is where we are now. I have finished up both eyes, made them match, put on a little bit of face product. I used my Tulum palette from BH Cosmetics and my Tarte palette, which is bronzer and blush respectively. And I don't have any highlighter on. Should I put highlighter on? I should, right? How about we grab the Kofa Moonlight from Nomad Cosmetics. It's this beautiful, sorry, can you see that? I'm sorry. It's this beautiful bluey purple sort of color. So I'll put a little bit of that on. I usually don't put this many layers on. Generally, I'll do either blush and a highlighter or bronzer and a highlighter. But since the whole point of this was to go glam, I mean, this is about as glam as I get, let's be real. We'll put on a little bit of highlighter. Blend it in a bit. And now I think it's time for some lip color. This is the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Devil's Food Cake. It's sort of a deep, sultry kind of color. And I'm going to put this on. The most pigmented stuff I have is the NYX Butter Gloss. So that's what I'm using. You, of course, could use whatever you want. And now let's let down the hair and see if we can make things a bit more extra. There. I still have my little flyaways, but nothing is going to change that. But here is the final nighttime look. I think it's really pretty. I think it's really smoky and sort of sultry and fun. This would be a great date night look. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Melissa, my subscriber who requested this, I hope you especially have enjoyed this video and maybe it's given you some ideas. You can do a lot with the Aurora Struck palette. It's not the most incredible quality. In my opinion, it's all pretty good ColourPop quality, but what it gives me is these soft, light, more romantic, gentle kinds of looks usually, but then you can certainly bring in the deeper shades or that pearlescent glitter and bring in a little bit more sparkle, a little more depth and drama, and get some really, really pretty looks. Remember that this palette has the blues, it has the purples, it has the teals, so you could do this in a mix of all those colors, or you could go more monochromatic, stay within the teals and get the same kind of result, and then adding in little things like a bit of extra eyeliner or a darker lip color or another layer of mascara. All of that can add some oomph to your look. Hopefully this was helpful to you. Thank you all for being here and for clicking on my channel. I hope you have enjoyed what you've seen. Remember to like and subscribe before you leave. Don't forget to hit that notification bell because I got lots more stuff coming. See you guys again in my next video. Bye!